Christopher Porco is from Rochester, New York. Christopher is a convicted killer who brutally murdered his father and disfigured his mother with an axe. Christopher was 21 when he committed the crime, and now he is in the jail in age of 33. He is charged for 50 years lifetime imprisonment for attempting a second-degree murder, meaning that he did not plan to kill his father. Police began looking for Christopher. He says he didn't know police wanted to talk to him. He says he was in his dorm room when he got a phone call from a local reporter. He said he kind of dropped the phone and was completely shocked, but the surveillance video shows he is lying. Caught on tape was Chris's bright yellow Jeep driving through a campus parking lot around 10:30 p.m. just hour before the attacks. Christopher agreed to go to the police station where he was questioned for 6 hours. There had been tension between Christopher and his parents involving money. Christopher took loans from his father's account without his permission to buy a new Jeep and pay his tuition for his college. Christopher added himself as a co-signer of his father's bank account. His father found out and warned him not to do things like this again. Next day his father was notified that Christopher took more money out of his father's account. His father told him that he will not tolerate this anymore, but they still love him and care about him. After 16 heavy blows to head with an axe, his father Peter Porco went about his regular morning routine, unaware that he was dying and his wife is bleeding to death by his bed. He walked into the kitchen, packed a lunch, signed a check to cover his son's parking tickets, and attempted to unload the dishwasher. There was evidence that Peter walked outside to get the newspaper and locked himself out of the house, but remembered the hidden key under the potted plant to get himself back in. After a few minutes he collapsed on the floor and died. The blow to the head cut off a part of his brain where the judgments are being made. Therefore, he couldn't assess what was going on, and did everything he normally would do. Joan, his mother, was lying in the bed with severe head and facial trauma. She survived but lost the left eye, a portion of the skull, and her face was left disfigured. The investigator asked Joan if a family member did this to her, and she nodded her head up and down clearly. And then he said to her, "Did Jonathan do this to you?" And she clearly shook her head back and forth, "No." And he said to her, "Did Christopher do this to you?" And she then shook her head up and down. She nodded. Yes, he did. But the next day the mother was in total denial, believing her son was innocent. She said she doesn't clearly remember what happened. Christopher Porco lived with his mother during the trial and walked her to court every day until he was convicted on all courts, even though they caught him in a web of lies. Joan Porco has sat behind her son throughout the trial, hugging him before and after each session, and defending him every inch of the way.